Have you ever asked yourself why life feels like an endless struggle? Why some people, seemingly ordinary, live with lightness and grace, while others, maybe you, work tirelessly only to feel stuck, exhausted and hollow? Is it because the world isn't fair? Is effort not enough anymore? Welcome back to the channel where we illuminate the dark corners of modern life with ancient wisdom. Today's journey takes us deep into one of the most powerful texts in human history, the Tao Te Ching, written over 2,000 years ago, yet astonishingly relevant in our age of burnout, pressure, and chaos. Today, you're going to discover 10 teachings from the Tao that don't just sound poetic. They are practical keys to unlocking a freer, lighter, and wiser life. This isn't about religion. This isn't about philosophy for academics. This is about you, your energy, your peace, and the simple truths you've probably forgotten. Let me begin with 2 questions that will make you pause. Why is it that those who chase success with desperation often feel more empty when they get it? And why do some people, who let go and flow with life, end up reaching places far beyond what strivers ever touch? That's the paradox of life, and the Tao holds its secret. Let's begin this journey. First, remember the line, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." This seems obvious, but the wisdom here is that nothing grand is achieved through grand gestures alone. The exhausted soul is the one that chases miracles but resists daily motion. You may dream of a different life, but unless you respect today's smallest task, that dream will forever stay out of reach. The Tao says, honor the ordinary, transform the trivial, and in doing so, greatness will arrive, and not with nays, but in silence. Second, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Take that in slowly. Often do we rush, push, and force ourselves, only to realize that the more we hurry, the more tangled our life becomes. Have you ever had a morning where everything went wrong because you were already anxious before it started? That is the curse of control. When you force the river to flow faster, you only muddy the water. Those who live with the Tao know this. Timing matters. The seasons don't compete. A tree doesn't rush to bloom. When you honor your pace, your energy returns. When you rush to prove yourself, you burn out. The third teaching, those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. It sounds hard, but think of your own experience. Have you ever met someone who had deep peace inside them? Did they need to explain themselves? Did they boast, argue, or justify? Their presence was enough. We exhaust ourselves in endless explanations, social posturing, and attempts to impress. But the Tao reminds us real power is quiet, real wisdom doesn't scream. The more you know, the less you need to say. Silence becomes your strength. Fourth, the Tao says when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. This is not about laziness. It's about the art of non-interference. The Tao teaches that by letting go of over-control, things find their natural harmony. Like water finding its level, life flows best when not micromanaged. You don't have to fix everyone. You don't have to solve every problem instantly. Sometimes, doing less is doing more. Let go. Let solutions emerge from space, not from stress. The fifth wisdom, the more rules and regulations, the more thieves and robbers there will be. This applies not just to governments, but to your mind. The more you try to regulate your life with rigid perfectionism, the more rebellion stirs inside you. You plan every hour, judge every thought, criticize every flaw. But the result isn't order, it's rebellion, burnout, and collapse. The Tao teaches flexibility, like bamboo, strong but bending, equine, invisible but unstoppable. Let's reflect. How many times have you tried to control everything, only to collapse under the pressure? How often have you lived in your mind's prison of shoulds, only to find that joy escaped through the cracks? The Tao says, release the grip. Let life breathe again. You're only halfway through these timeless teachings, and already you may be feeling it, the gentle loosening inside, or remembering, out of something new, but of something ancient, something always within you. Let's keep going, because what comes next may change everything. Let's continue unlocking the deep, calming, life-changing wisdom hidden in the Tao teaching. We've already discussed the first 5 teachings, and you may be feeling a shift, a quiet reminder that the answers were never far. They were simply ground out by Nes. Let's go further. 6th, he who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. Azure, take a deep breath, reflect. In modern life, we are taught that more is better, more money, more achievements, more experiences, more likes, more stuff. At what is the cost? Anxiety, comparison, debt, exhaustion. And yet, how many times have you truly needed more? There is a kind of wealth that has nothing to do with your bank account. It is the wealth of contentment, a wealth of being fully present with what you have, instead of constantly chasing what you don't. True contentment doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful, because when you no longer need from the outside, your energy can focus inward. You move from hunger to purpose, from craving to creativity. The Tao does not tell us to abandon goals. It tells us to question our hunger, to ensure our pursuit comes from inspiration, not insecurity. 7th, to hold and fill to overflowing is not as good as stopping in time. We live in a world that worships success, too much ambition, too much work, too much consumption, too much stimulation, and when we finally have it all, what happens? We get overwhelmed. We can't enjoy it. This teaching is about restraint. It's about knowing when to pause, when to say this is enough, when to breathe and savor instead of grabbing more. Think of a glass being filled with water. If you stop at the right moment, you can carry it calmly. But if you fill to the brim, even a slight movement spills it everywhere. So too with your life. Learn the power of moderation, of timing, of grace. Leave room for emptiness, because emptiness is where beauty rises. 8th, the softest thing in the universe overcomes the hardest thing in the universe. This is one of the Tao's most poetic and paradoxical truths. Water, so soft, so yielding, so silent, and yet, over time, it carves mountains, it breaks down stone, nourishes all life. What does this mean for you? It means that gentleness is not weakness, patience is not passivity, compassion is not a compromise of strength. True power flows. It doesn't force. When life gets hard, we often tense up, we fight, we resist. We try to conquer the challenge with brute force. But sometimes, the answer isn't to push harder, it's to soften. To listen, to bend, to trust. When you become like water, at a table, quiet, humble, you become unstoppable. 9th, the sage does not hoard. The more he helps others, the more he benefits himself. Let's reflect on this one in a culture obsessed with individual success. We are taught to protect our resources, our ideas, our time. We are warned not to give too much, lest we be taken advantage of. And yes, boundaries are wise. What the Tao isn't calling for self-sacrifice, it's calling for trust in the flow. When you give from a place of inner abundance, you tap into the endless circulation of life. Energy given returns. Not always immediately, not always directly, but it always returns. Have you ever helped someone and unexpectedly received something even greater later? Have you ever smiled at a stranger and suddenly your entire day shifted? What you offer the world comes back to you not through transaction, but through alignment. The sage is not poor because he gives. He is rich because he flows with the river of giving. And finally, the 10th principle for today, though the Tao offers many more, is perhaps the most mysterious and liberating of all. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action rises by itself? Sit with this. We are always doing, planning, fixing, searching. But the Tao invites us to stillness not as laziness, but as clarity. When you stop stirring the water, the mud settles on its own. When you stop panicking, the path often appears. When you stop forcing, the right next step becomes obvious. Patience isn't the absence of movement. It's the wisdom to wait for natural timing. And in this, The Tao teaches us the supreme lesson of life. Realize, be more. Abresh, line. Control, trust. Now, let's bring these teachings into the real world, into your life, right now. Think about the lifetime you felt truly exhausted, and not physically, but spiritually. What were you doing? Most likely, you were resisting reality, fighting to make something happen, clinging to an outcome, trying to impress someone, judging yourself. This is the root of exhaustion, and not action, but resistance. The Tao offers rest, not through sleep, but through surrender. Imagine waking up tomorrow and doing everything with just 10 more softness, speaking slower, listening deeper, letting go faster, using longer. How different would your day be? Imagine making peace with the moment, even as you work toward a better one. Imagine being fully alive, and not someday, but now. This is what the Tao wants for you. Not obedience, not asceticism, not mystical abstraction, not illness, balance, peace, stillness in motion. So let me ask you this. What would happen if you lived just one day completely in harmony with the Tao? What if you didn't argue with reality? What if you stopped proving and started being? What if you trusted the process? Today, you've been given 10 ancient keys. Each one is simple but radical. Each one is gentle but powerful. Each one is countercultural but soul-restoring. And the choice is now yours. You can return to the nice, the rush, the chase. Or you can return to yourself. Because the path isn't far. It begins with a breath, release, smile. Thank you for walking this path with me today. I'd love to hear your reflection. To do any of these teachings speak to you? Which one are you ready to embody right now? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and let's grow in wisdom together. Don't forget to subscribe for more ancient truths brought to life in today's world. Like, share, and carry these teachings in your heart, not just your mind. See you in the next video.
Before you leave, here's something special. In Buddhism, we believe that every encounter carries a deeper meaning. Would you like to discover your true soul connection, the one written into your destiny? Take the Soulmate Test today and unveil the hidden truths of your journey. Click the link below and begin your path now.
http://soulmate. You wisdom more, come, white.